Ending. A lot of really good efforts by a lot of our guys, particularly the defense. Thought the defense played extremely hard, extremely well, limited them to a lot of, gave us opportunities on short fields as well. And then we really struggled in the red zone. That's what was obvious, and turned the ball over. And that's certainly that last drive down there when they stopped us on 4th and 1 and went the length of the field ended up being the difference in the game. So that being said, questions.
Mario, have you guys on the staff been able to identify what has been giving Tyler so much trouble lately, and has the staff and you guys considered making a change at quarterback?
Well, I think it's not just pointing a finger at Tyler. I think offensively there's things that we need to do better. The passing game certainly hasn't been what it needs to be, especially when we started the season so in such a strong manner. But it's tied into us being able to put it all together and synchronize it. Sometimes the routes are covered, smothered a little bit. Sometimes, protection's been fairly good for the most part. They brought a lot of zero blitz today, and then played a lot of coverage, drop 8. So it's a little bit of everything. A little bit of, we've got to coach it better. We've got to get our guys to perform better. We've got to design a couple things that might help us see things a little bit more clearly, but it's a little bit of everything.
And, you've talked in the past about how tough Tyler is. How is he kind of handling this? Is probably the toughest.
He's tough. He's tough, and he's upset. And you know what, competitors are like that, but he competed the whole way. I don't think anyone in there is making excuses for anything. I think everyone there is really upset, really disappointed. Games like that, you got to grind them out. It's going to be who can outlast who can get up one more time. And we had a lot of momentum going down there, in the 4th quarter to go score. And when we didn't get that done, it certainly switched some momentum. And that being said, guys kept battling and kept fighting, but not to the standard and not the result we wanted.
And Mark, made his first start, had a pretty good game. I think 115 yards. Just what do you think of him getting a chance to really show what he can do tonight?
I thought he was really good, really tough. Saw things really well. Against a defense that's really good. They don't allow much on the ground or in the air, so really good in protection also. He's a really good player. He's a really going to be a great one.
And the defense tonight, played very well.
I thought they were awesome, man. I thought they were awesome. They limited these guys to, I don't know what the 3rd down conversion rate was, but certainly was, high caliber for us, for our defense. We limited them to under 50 plays, under 50 snaps. When you do that, you should walk away with a favorable result. We'll put pressure on the quarterback, stop the run, contain some of their explosive players for the most part. But they made a couple plays too. They certainly played their hearts out. They gave us every chance to win the game. We wouldn't lose together. There's no one over there pointing a finger at anybody on the other side of the ball, but we got to put it together better as a team.
And Mario, the passing game for the last month has been totally distinctly different from what it was early in the season. Do you guys have any feel for what's?
We do. It hasn't been what it's supposed to be or what it was early on. So I'm not sure it's a little bit of everything, but it's on us to fix it, and we haven't done good enough. And when I say that, we have to do it as an organization, players, coaches. Scheme, design, execution, the whole thing. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. We're out of sync. It's obvious, right? We're not playing. We're not throwing the ball and catching it really well. And there's no one person to blame. It's all of us. So.
Well, Tyler, how is he feeling physically? I guess that's the first thing. Obviously,
he's upset. He's upset, and he's disappointed because he's a competitor. He wants to win. I mean, he'd rather throw away any stat out the window and just get a win, And so, but he's a really good player, and he's disappointed, and just like the rest of us are. So.
Obviously, just following up on that, he was kind of banged up following the North Carolina game. Just how is he doing in terms of the hand, physically?
He's doing pretty well. It's at this point in the season, a lot of guys are banged up. I think he feels like anybody else, but he's fighting through, and certainly he doesn't make any excuses.
Certainly a highlight. Can you just speak to Fletcher's performance?
Yeah, Mark Fletcher is, he's beyond his years a little bit. As a freshman to come into against a defense like that. Thought the offensive line did a good job for him as well. I mean, they grinded a lot of gritty yards, a lot of tough yards. This was going to be a muddy game up front. in the run game and thought that, for the most part, did a really, really nice job. The last one there on 4th down, they stunted into and lined up to an alignment where we were going to be manned up and we weren't going to have a blocker for that one free hitter inside. He caused him to stutter, and then the outside guy came and they kind of scrunched him there. But it was a good adjustment by them. We couldn't get to that guy, but I thought Mark was excellent.
And obviously, I mean, you guys have a very big game coming on Saturday against FSU. They're a very tough team. How do you guys, I guess, I know we've talked about this in the past, but you guys have had tough losses, but how do you get the team to kind of move on from this in the next, in the next day?
Well, yeah, like we always do. I think a couple things. Number one is you never compromise effort, right? You never do that. If you do, it's again, this program won't have that. Second of all, we played tough for the most part. Defense gave us every opportunity to win that game. And then we were down there, we had every opportunity to take control of that game, and we didn't do it, okay? We have to own that, right? The other part is that we know that we could be a really good football team. We've shown it in spurts, We don't want to engage in all the post-snap stuff, all that. That stuff ain't us. We address that too. That's never going to be us. Not going to be a part of what we do, but the guys buckled down even down to the end, finding a way to get a stop there at the goal line at the end. I mean, that's a high character team that wants to be tough, wants to play hard, and wants to win. So I don't doubt that. To me, we just got to make sure that we do our best job as an organization to get better. We have gotten better in so many ways. We had a couple ups and downs early in the season. We had some momentum going into this game. We didn't finish the job. We didn't get it done. So get on the plane, get right back to work, let these guys get a little bit of rest, but we'll be working on it right away, and we'll get prepared for next week.
Do a couple more questions. Hey, right before that 4th and 1, you guys called timeout. Had they done something on defense that made you want to call timeout at that point?
Well, we were running low on the clock as well. Didn't want to make that a 4th and 6 and have to kick the ball. We had a tough time getting down there. We were, at that point, we had kicked. Our field goals were outside the red zone. We had kicked one field goal in the red zone. We had an interception in the red zone, and then we were down there so tight where it's 1.5, almost 2 yards. It was a go. It was a go situation, and just we were short. The clock was running, and just didn't want to take any chances. Wanted to go for it. So good.
Anything you say on the offensive line? I guess he was sacked 3 times, I think, today.
Yeah, you got to look at it on film. I think one of them was legitimate, like a really good play. I think the other ones were more related to coverage. But I'll have to see the tape. When they went drop 8, you got to hang onto the ball and pat it a little bit. And a lot of times forced into checkdowns and stuff like that. But I thought the offensive line, on the surface, they played fairly well. They played pretty well. Obviously not the result we want. So if that's the case, we didn't coach it good enough. We didn't play good enough.
So, thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.